This week, our beautiful sun, the sun within us, our consciousness, is activating gate 59 in the I Ching and Gene Keys. This frequency is activating a genetic codon within all of us that is stimulating our consciousness field theme, the theme of the life this week. The transformational path of this frequency moves from the shadow of dishonesty to the highest frequency of transparency, and it's via the path of intimacy. What is incredibly magical this week is that the two lovers in the sky are dancing together, communicating. Mars, our masculine energy from within us, our willpower, our action. In Gemini, communication, perspectives, ideas, is making a square with Venus, our feminine energy from within us, our desires. In Virgo, how to make things better. Just watch out for being critical with yourself and with others. They're in a direct square with each other all week. And by the end of this frequency, by the sixth day of this frequency, Venus, our desires, is going to be making an exact trine with Pluto at 0 degrees Aquarius for the first time in our lifetime. So that's powerful transformations of our desires, collaboration, innovations, visions of the future. Before I get into the intellectual understanding of this frequency, let's take a peek at the human design holographic body graph to better understand this frequency from within us. So the sun is activating gate 59. Gate 59 is located right here in the sacral center. The sacral center is our life force energy. It's located in our stomach. Now, gate 59 at the shadow is dishonesty. At the highest frequency, it's transparency. And this energy is our sexual drive. It's the gate of sexuality. And sexuality is all about fertility, seduction. It's the drive to reproduce and leave something behind. Now, it could be also a project. It doesn't have to be just about mating. This is very powerful sacral sexual power. Now, gate 59 is activating gate 55 frequency. It's Earth, its exact opposite frequency. The best way to understand it is that the Earth is the manifestation that we see, and then the sun is illumination. So gate 55 is located right here in the emotional solar plexus. This energy at the shadow is moodiness that needs to ride through a wave. Now, at the highest frequency, it's bringing emotional abundance through spirit. So this week, there could be interesting energy going on. Now, gate 59 creates a quantum field channel with gate 6. Gate 6 is in the emotional solar plexus. And at the shadow, it's conflicts. At the highest frequency, it's emotional intimacy. Now, this quantum field channel is called the channel of mating. Venus, midweek this week, is going to enter gate 6. So for all of us, this energy is available. So this could be an interesting week for love, for intimacy, and the shadow, obviously, of conflict. Dishonesty runs deep within human beings. We're dishonest in our relationships, in our sexuality. We're dishonest with our feelings, and primarily we're dishonest with ourselves. It takes deep courage to dig up the roots to our dishonesty. Our minds are the problem. The mind assumes a belief system that it needs in order to maintain the dishonesty. But let me tell you, wherever you see the 59th gene key, you are seeing a massive mutation happening right now. The 59th gene key, along with its programming partner, the 55th gene key, both are bringing a massive mutation to humanity through the emotional solar plexus by 2027. The 59th gene key concerns mating. It concerns the way in which human beings are attracted to each other, and it concerns the way in which our sexuality goes out towards each other. You might have noticed something regarding your sexuality. It's one of its main tendencies, that it doesn't really care about boundaries and barriers. It causes chaos in our lives. So naturally, it smashes all our morals, tribal, and cultural taboos. For example, you're drawn to someone, but you're married to someone else. What are you supposed to do with that? You could see the root to so much dishonesty in that scenario. The dilemma of the 59th shadow is emotional processing. I'm going to come down really hard on emotional processing. Until we begin the process of true intimacy, which is a process that involves deep courage, we're either running from our emotions and our sexuality or obsessed with them, one or the other. In the modern New Age movement, there's a great deal of stress put onto emotional processing. Yet the one thing we see is that you never actually get anywhere. I know people and friends that have been going to therapists for years, yet 20 years later, they're dealing with the same issues, and some of these are therapists themselves. Sorry, therapists. The shadow of emotional dishonesty is never going to go away until we internalize what true intimacy entails, which is deep, deep acceptance. You could see for yourself that emotional processing has never resolved anything, at least not on a collective level. It just keeps the therapists in business, the talk shows, and media. Until I had my breakthrough and committed 100% to a spiritual path of self-love and inner work, I thought I'd be forever a slave to my desires and emotional needs. Before we go over how to transform this shadow from within, let's go over how it won't work. It won't work by telling your lover or your partner your every desire and every feeling. That's not the answer. That's a disaster. Well, first, it's a projection. It's also disrespectful to lay all your emotional stuff on someone you're supposed to love. And additionally, you're just stuck in a karmic energetic loop. It just doesn't work. Another way it doesn't work is therapy. Sorry, therapists. You see, everything is energy, and energy is form. And each time you emotionally process through the mind, you are validating and growing the energy and recreating it. It also won't be resolved through free love and open sex. Sorry to all you free lovers. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with these things or taking a moral stance. There's only one way to transmute the shadow of emotional and sexual dishonesty. The answer is through sublimation, which is deep, deep inner clarity and acceptance. You have to know the nature of your desire on a very deep level. You have to understand it at its root. So what is really going on when you're attracted to another human being? Well, you're seeing your own purified essence in them. And for whatever reason, usually a karmic tie, that person triggers a yearning for your higher self. But you don't see that, and that's the root of the dishonesty. So what is behind that sexual urge or burst for love? It's actually pure at the highest level. It's your urge to return home to your source. A physical orgasm, as wonderful as it is a reflection of a heightened impulse to merge with the divine, to come into unity with all of creation. A physical orgasm gives you a peek at that, a few seconds, a few minutes, maybe hours if you're lucky. Now the next level would be a heart orgasm, the tantric version, when the energy moves in a higher way, but that too is not the ultimate prize. The real prize is when the orgasmic energy stays within your heart independently of another person. Contemplation leads to this higher merging with the light. So does meditation and prayer. So when I say that the answer is sublimation, what I mean is that you need to see into your desires, into the heart of them. And you have to see that following them will simply continue the cycling back to the wheel of emotional drama and emotional processing. But one day, your awareness will penetrate so deep into your sexuality and desires that it will bring you to the realization that by not always following that urge, by rooting it internally, you will gain a higher experience. But this is a natural process. It takes time. You should not try to impose this on yourself. I'm not advocating for celibacy, but for some it may be their path. Your love for higher frequencies has to be so strong that it reroutes the neural pathways in the brain. I'm not saying you have to stop sex. Sex is healthy if it feels right. Ideally in a deep, loving relationship, but it doesn't have to be. It depends on you, your culture. We each find our way, what feels aligned, what feels true, what feels good in the body. Traditional partnerships and marriage seem to be going out of fashion, and more people are experimenting with open relationships. The experimentation with open relationship, I see it as a process that has value, but I see it coming back full circle to the sacred couple. Spiritual couples that use the relationship as a spiritual practice to transcend together to higher consciousness. Sublimation is the key. It's a natural process. Please understand what I'm trying to say here. The 59th gene key is an important frequency. Higher consciousness is unlocked through sexuality, but it's a natural process. You have to work deeply into your desires and relationships. The 59th gift, the way to alchemize the shadow and raise the vibration, intimacy. Intimacy is the byproduct of the energy that we put into our transformation. As our awareness moves into awakening, we move into a period of time of instability in the life. It may be external depending on your dharma, but it really is internal instability. It's a process of a mutation that involves insights, breakthroughs, and epiphanies. In between those inner events is a lot of time to integration. In fact, most of the time is given to integration. Intimacy is all about integration. We have to learn how to keep connecting with others, even though we're changing and evolving. And the others in the life are also changing as you change. But not all of them. And the ones that don't, well, they're the great challenges. The ones that don't shift, well, they're the cutting edge to our intimacy. How to be intimate with somebody who doesn't know what that is. Well, it's actually easy and simple. The minute we let go of the need for them to change, you simply share what you share and you let them be. Who are you to question their dharma? A major part of intimacy is learning to meet the other at where they're at while remaining on your level. The content doesn't matter. It's the love that matters. We learn to care in intimacy. Intimacy is very diplomatic. There could be a belief in awareness circles that intimacy means share everything with everyone and hold nothing back. Well, it's very naive. It's not compassionate. You don't have to hold back your heart. You have to find a way with empathy. Intimacy doesn't advise. Intimacy cares. Intimacy creates a caring environment at all times by letting your care lift them up lovingly. The 59th city, the highest frequency, transparency. So what is transparency? Is it just about being honest and clear? Well, yes and no. To be transparent is to let another being wash through you. The enlightened experience has washed away all your defenses. You have no separateness. Most people are afraid of losing their identity, which is the fear of death. Transparency is dying into another. It's dying into the whole through another. That is intimacy at its highest. Love is transparency. Transparency is the aura of love. I'm Pyra this week to create space, get to higher awareness, notice your thoughts, feel all the sensations fully that come up in the body this week, and shine the light of awareness to your desires, to your emotional and sexual urges, and feel it deeply within your body. Be blessed.